Yo, so the opinions and views expressed in this podcast are that of our own and the future Bachelor podcast only, and not affiliated with any outside party or entity or anything like that. This fun podcast, though, may include some adult language.
Future Bachelor podcast.
Why don't we get into something we like to do on this show? You know what I'm saying? It's that time to talk about Bachelor stuff on our show. Before we get into it, though, I want to start you guys off with making sure you go ahead and subscribe and smash that thumbs up button. Hit that notification bell so you can get notified every time we drop new content. Helps out with those YouTube algorithms. You know what I'm saying? If you just did it, I want to just say huge shout out to you. I love you. B loves you. Do it for her birthday. Just, hit that thumbs up, hit that subscribe.
Happy
do it for us.
Happy birthday to me.
Yes, sir. Enough of that, though. Why don't we get into this week's week 2 of Bachelor episode that we watched? We're about to recap it. V, where do we start?
So before we even get into week 2, we learned that I guess there was a deleted scene from the premiere episode where they had Michelle giving Clayton some advice. And I think they did Michelle dirty by deleting her because she is America's sweetheart.
What happened? What do you mean the deleted scene? I guess I missed that part.
So in the premiere episode, there was filmed a bit of her giving him advice,
right?
And they didn't air it.
How come?
At all?
Do we know why?
No, It's just, I guess, for time or for whatever.
There was a lot of drama this week they had to get to, I guess. So.
Well, that was supposed to be from the premiere episode.
Yeah. Well, they ran out of time on this episode too, it seems like, but yeah, so this week starts off week 2. Now we're starting to get, our hands dirty, our feet
getting
wet.
into the dates.
Yeah. What do we start with?
We start with what is, just best date based on who's hosting it. And it's a group date, and it's hosted by the queen of my heart, Hilary Duff. My first concert, which I guess a couple of the girls said that it was their first concert, Hilary Duff. And she's obviously there because this date is about hosting a kid's birthday party. She does have kids. It has nothing to do with her kids, but she has to, because then immediately the commercial after the first chunk of that date was for the show that she's starring in, the spinoff, How I Met Your Father.
Yeah.
So...
Which, I'm looking forward to the show. I'm sure it's going to be good. But that promo...
I love Hilary Duff. Yeah. I don't give a shit. I'm going to just watch her.
But the promo itself, it didn't seem like... It felt very lackluster. Like there was... I don't know. It just seemed very clean and put together, like a Hulu promo. But it just didn't really have much personality in it. But I'm sure it's going to be good. I was a huge fan of the original, so...
But the girls seemed more excited over Hilary Duff than over Clayton, which, same.
Fair enough.
Same. Fair enough. This date makes one of our 2 main villains that we're going to be talking about, and it is Cassidy. Cassidy, is loud and proud about how she is actively refusing to doing the tasks that this date requires, which she's supposed, everyone has a job for this birthday party. And it's because, the theme of it is, kids. Clayton has made very apparent in the promos, in his discussions, in his whatever, that he really wants to, get married and start a family. He wants kids. He is ready to roll. When he was on Michelle's season, the most that we saw of him was his interactions with the kids on Michelle's season. That is his wheelhouse. Yeah. And Cassidy's fuck it. I'm going to go find him, and I'm just going to make out with him by this pool, because they're at this gorgeous Beverly Hills mansion.
Yeah, and I honestly was going to say this makeout was something, I haven't seen this in a really long time. I think, the last time I saw something this, forward, I'm going to say, on the show was, when Demi was in her season as, a cast member and stuff.
Another parallel to Colton's season, because that was Demi's season.
Nicely done. Yeah, no, so, she went straight in for the kiss. She was wrapping her leg up on his leg and stuff. I was like, what's going on here?
There are children abound. There are
there is literally a child up the stairs. Children, all of them running around, but they were preoccupied with that bouncy bounce. I hate how when they do these kids ones where they just like have them run out and they have no like direction. They just like run past it like, all right, what are they doing? They're just like these scary kids running full speed at them. But
I know you could tell some of the girls were definitely freaking out, but then some of them are like teachers or work with kids or do whatever, or just
and also
in general.
some of the kids are they're obviously actors, like, you know what I'm saying, like the one girl that got like, she's like, oh, this is supposed to be on my birthday, like it's like
Maya was the
she was
birthday girl's
overacting the scene because she was obviously like, hey, it's got my name on it, and I don't even know if that's probably her real name. That's why she was
who's to say? Who's to say? I mean, I could see them protecting her, especially because like they're kids, but the other girls obviously are not fans of Cassidy because she's just out here taking him away, not pulling her weight, not doing like, you know, and just like, my thing is like, I understand it is a hokey date. Like, it is kind of hokey to be all like, now you're gonna have to like do this like physical labor of sorts for whatever, but like, you are trying to prove to if his priorities.
See, it doesn't, to me, it does not matter as long as Clayton, like if it went over his head, like it just went over his head. Now I think you know, she does what she does. She didn't want to do it. She didn't want to do it, and she still came out looking good. And
she didn't come out looking good. She came out on top. She got the group date rose. That doesn't mean that she was looking good.
I mean, whatever. Like, I mean, there's some people that rather look good for TV. There's some people that want to win. There's some people that are here for love.
She's very much so of the win mentality, which I think is a fucked up mentality in general, because like, you are trying. She's like, I'm here to date Clayton, which I'm like, I get her mindset. I do. But like, she's arrogant and she's a bitch. Like, I just kind of am
I know
like,
there was times where she was like way too confident, and he was like, wow, you're confident. And she just kind of leaned into it more. And it was like, because I'm not going anywhere. Like, I'm like, oh my gosh.
Then that's when it turns into cocky and arrogant. Like, there's
also
like
creepy as hell. Like, I don't know. But
yeah, it just was. It was too much. And then the fact that she was actively telling these children, like, yeah, I don't hang out around kids, and like the kids were all like, oh, like,
you hate kids.
Yeah, like I'm like that's not gonna win you any you know things.
So anyways, this whole date pretty much essentially like surrounds her, Cassidy, and all the girls are pissed off, and they're waiting to get to this like, you know, cocktail hour with all of them to just kind of, you know, get it popping, right? So that's what comes next.
Yeah, I mean, they kind of go after her in the cocktail hour, being all like, you didn't do this, and then you were like, you know, you ruined my cake, like, because the one girl made the cake, and she's just not. I mean, Cassidy's like, whatever, like, I don't care, like, and she ends up.
Once you've gone that far, she was doing everything she could do at that moment. You know what I'm saying? Because later on in the show, we'll show you an example of someone that, you know, is getting attacked and it's just not working, I feel like, in their favor. But but yeah, so anyway, so yeah, what ends up happening at the end of that cocktail hour?
I mean, as I said a bit ago, Cassidy does end up getting the group date rose, which obviously the other girls are pissed about. Teddy was on this date, and she did have like a little bit of screen time with her time at the cocktail hour, but you could see like the direct contrast between how, you know, she's approaching the dates in Clayton, like, and she's a little bit more passive and stuff, and how Cassidy is just really, really going for it. So
coming next, we get this like scene. I don't know if the next dates announced but there was a scene between Cassidy and Shanae that kind of like is Cassidy like mentoring Shanae, or should we say Shanae, you know, with what she should be doing right now, which is very interesting. Like, you know, when you think about like, if you want to win, why would you be telling other girls? And I think
why are you giving other girls
like
the,
tips,
you know,
to like get your man and stuff? But I think it's just because they just kind of are relating to each other. They're like probably each other's best friends in the house. I
guess it's like the enemy you know is better than the enemy you don't. So
exactly.
Cassidy's gonna be all like, I guess, you know, they're like each other's like little henchmen. Like, they are definitely.
I think Cassidy's just feeling herself right now and can't stop talking about how great like she's doing, you know. So her talking is obviously getting out of control, and it becomes a problem later on in the episode. But so now Shanae has got it in her mind that she has to be like Cassidy, and this is where I was just like, you know, what would Cassidy do? That's like, you know, what all I kept thinking is like, she just kept bringing up Cassidy. What would Cassidy do? Like, what
WWCD, what would Cassidy
exactly.
do?
So, you know, the thing is though, it's Shanae is actually really pretty. Oh my goodness. Like, she's beautiful.
Okay. Shanae and Cassidy look very similar. They're both blonde. They both have round faces.
Maybe, but I don't think Cassidy, you know, is I don't find her as attractive as I feel like Shanae does. But Shanae has definitely got, like, she's insecure at this moment. You know, hasn't really had a moment with Clayton that she feels comfortable about. But she's got some confidence behind her, and she's going into this next group date. But before they went into that date, they announced who went into the date and stuff, and who got the one-on-one date, right?
So the one-on-one date goes to Susie, who the internet is really equating to being a look-alike / kind of similar vibes to Hannah Brown. Just like overall, like sweet girl, kind of has same face shape, kind of same vibes, etc. They do the quintessential Bachelor date. They go in a helicopter. They land the helicopter on like a helipad boat, and then they're like chilling on this boat. There's really like not much to say about this date. Like,
what do you think about her? And
I think Susie's fine. I have no issues with Susie. The other girls seemingly had issues with her because she didn't like fall to the ground and jump out of her seat that she got the one-on-one date card. Like, she was nervous, which I think is a normal reaction to have. Like, you know, you want to make sure you're making a good impression. Like, it's the first one-on-one date of the season. I think I felt like her connection and talking with Clayton seemed genuine. I don't feel like she's any kind
Clayton
of thing,
seemed
but
like very into her,
Right.
I don't really know what it was or whatever, but maybe he's just like really into any girl he's with at that moment, which makes sense. But you know, she was nice enough and cute enough and stuff. So I
felt like she was nice, cute, funny, relatable. I feel like they had like a bit of a vibe on the opening night. So I think it's just like they were continuing it. But yeah, there wasn't like a ton, nothing crazy. But like, it seems like the girls are already trying to put a target on Susie's back, but maybe it's just because they're jealous or whatever. Like, I don't understand that. I don't think we haven't seen her do anything at this point that would, I feel, warrant.
She does have a strong personality, I would say. I wonder how that's going across in the house.
Yeah, but I don't think it's like aggressive. It's not like a Cassidy strong personality.
No, it's more of just like, I don't know how to explain it, but you know, we only get to see one side of it. I can only see a little bit, like, through what we saw, but like, you know, when you live with someone and you have to like deal with them all the time, and you know, when sometimes you're like, oh my God, that person's like way too nice, like they gotta be fake, like, you know, those type of feelings come out sometimes, especially when you're, you know, in this type of like focused situation. Yeah. So yeah, that date was, you know, pretty lackluster, but it went well. And this group date happens. What do they got them doing on this group date?
So the group date, it's hosted by Z-Way, who is known for her show, which she's really funny. I think she's a great entertainer, content creator, interviewer kind of like person. And she starts their date. They do a bunch of never have I evers, which, you know, includes stuff about sending nudes, cheating on a significant other, things like that. And
does it count if you cheated in high school?
I think it counts. And that's what they said. And that's what they said to Elizabeth.
I just wanted to know your answer.
This is where the shit with Shanae starts. Shanae is
yeah, I wanted to say like
sitting by herself.
Yes, but that was interesting because like I don't think I wonder how they set this up. If they thought somebody would sit next to Clayton, because Elizabeth was smart enough to be like, can I sit here? Which left Shanae on a desk by herself in the front. And she was just like, it was just like the perfect like scene right now, because she's all talking about she's about to hop in. She's going to take it like, you know, about balls. And then it just all starts falling apart. And Elizabeth is looking cute too. Like, you know, and they're vibing, they're laughing, touching, you know.
They're flirting, having a good time. And Shanae is just fuming at her little desk alone, being all like, she's like, this Elizabeth, she's so fake, she's so two-faced, and like
she literally seems like an actress, like somebody from a TV show. That's how funny. Like I really like Shanae, as crazy as she is. Like I do like her, not only because like she's funny to me,
she's delusional,
but
though.
she's also beautiful. Like I just think she's hot, like, you know. So
she's just fully delusional because she's just like making up all this, like, just like being all like, Elizabeth's so fake, Elizabeth this, like, and she just like hones in on Elizabeth, because then the rest of the date is like this red flags or whatever, like obstacle course, and of course they put them all in white little outfits because they're gonna get messy. There's different things, and they get sent to, you know, the penalty box and all these different things, and
Shanae, doesn't Shanae shove the shit out of
Shanae, like, actively, as they're going through one, like, sticky, gooey part of the obstacle course, she, like, actively takes and throws Elizabeth down.
These are tantrum things. These are things that, like, adults should not be doing. Like, first of all, adults shouldn't be doing the situation, but, like, this is the type of behavior that adults shouldn't be, like showcasing on national television about themselves. But she's making good TV, so I can't complain.
It's just like, it's just ridiculous because it's truly unfounded. And then she's like in the final two as they're like heading down the chute at the end, and she doesn't even win. Like, I think Sarah is the girl who won, and yeah, and Shanae's all like, and like, I can't believe I didn't even win. I'm like, bitch, you didn't win. Like, you didn't complete the race first. Like, that's on you. That's literally just on you.
So who ends up winning?
I think her name's Sarah.
Sarah is cute. This episode, I was like, damn, dude, there's a lot of cute, like really cute women on this show this season. She wins. She's super happy about it. And
she's normal.
Yes.
And she's not trying to, you know, just
I think
make anybody her enemy.
She makes it pretty far. It looked like she was one of those girls at the end or something. And
I mean, yeah, unless it's as we've said before, editing mojo Joja, but she looks like she might be one of those final three that's crying at me.
Right.
But,
so anyways, what happens next then?
Well, so, you know, they're in like the cocktail portion, and things are getting spicy between Elizabeth and Shanae. They're just like, Shanae really has it out for Elizabeth, and she decides to take it upon herself to talk to Clayton during her time talking to Clayton to be like, yeah, like, look out for, you know, Elizabeth. She's two-faced. She's like this or that. Like, I just don't think, you know, all this stuff. And of course, Clayton, being the lug that he is, he's all like, oh no.
Yeah. And they always have to do that though, because they can't be like, what are you talking about? You're being stupid.
There's nothing to found this, but okay. And so like he talks to Elizabeth, and Elizabeth is rightfully so confused. She's like,
well, before that though, like, I do want to say that she brought the paddle from the previous date and did a smooth move of saying, never have I ever kissed the Bachelor, and got that first kiss with him.
Shanae did?
No, Elizabeth did.
Oh, Elizabeth. Yeah.
But yeah, so then, you know, Shanae goes and tells Clayton about how, like, Elizabeth made her feel like shit or something, and then he has to go and pull Elizabeth, and she's all like, I've no idea. I'm sorry, I guess. Like, you know.
She's like, I've like talked to her maybe twice, and she shoved me down in the obstacle course. Like,
actually, she shoved me down in the obstacle course. I didn't want to say anything, but I am saying something now.
Yeah, she's like, if anything, like, I'm the one who should be upset. She's like,
thanks for bringing up some bullshit, because I wanted to bring it up, but I didn't want to talk about bullshit. But now that we're talking about bullshit, this is like what she's saying. So it was awesome. And essentially, you know, she goes back to Shanae and like pulls her aside, and it's like very weird, like the camera's in your face. This is one of the first probably confrontations you've ever had to do on national television, and it starts going down, and it just gets wild. Like what
it just gets weird because like Elizabeth's like, okay, like, yo, like, what's the deal? Why are you telling, like, I don't, like, what's the problem? What problem do you have with me? Like, what are you telling Clayton? Like, I just don't understand. And then this is when like Shanae gets like very emotional about the fact that Elizabeth didn't like pay her enough attention during a conversation they were having like with one of the other girls, NC, and like she's, and like Elizabeth's like, I'm sorry, like NC was talking, So I was giving her things, and like if you were talking too, like I can't.
Well, this is where she brings up her ADHD.
And she's like, I have ADHD, so like I have like an auditory processing thing, like where I can't process both at the same time, like effectively. So like, I'm sorry, it like really is nothing against you, but like I was listening to NC, and then if you started talking at me, I can't do both.
Yeah, I don't know if this was the best explanation of something like that. I know what she was trying to do. Like, she was trying to be nice and trying to just like, give an explanation of something that really doesn't deserve one. But, I would have said it like, look, I am so sorry. I actually really like you. I have no recollection of that moment, but if I did that to you, I'm sorry. At this point though, like, it's you're stuck in a rock and a hard place. Like, it's like you don't want to make it too much of a big deal, but you want to like contain it, but at the same time you feel like if I apologize for something I didn't do, is this going to be a reason that sends me home? Like, like
right. And like I don't feel like you should feel like you have to apologize for.
Well, you kind of watch it on her face. Like, it's like within like, it was like 5 minutes on the show, but then she comes back and she starts like approaching her about it again, and she's like, Elizabeth's like, you know what, I've been thinking about it a little bit, and I'm not like, nothing really happened. Like, when you get back and you talk with the girls and they're just like, that's crazy, what are you talking about, Shanae? It's like, so Elizabeth, like, and her just kind of agree to disagree, I guess, on like, and that's a nice way to put it, but they move on that day. What comes next?
Then we get into the cocktail party for the rose ceremony.
Oh, this is the continuation of that conversation that comes
and
back.
They like decide to bring it up again because like Shanae is still throwing shade because then her and like Cassidy have regrouped, and Cassidy's all like, you got to squash any beef that you have. It's not going to benefit you to have any beef. And like Shanae's like, okay, I'm going to squash the beef, which in her sense is reigniting the grill of the beef. Like, so I'm like, what are you doing? Like, you are making it worse.
Yeah.
So they get back into it, and then it just like Shanae just digs herself a nice little grave of like in consideration, because she just starts being all like, we all have ADHD, kids have ADHD, like blah blah blah, like whatever, and like pretty much gaslighting poor Elizabeth about. And like Elizabeth's like, I don't even understand how this is even.
She's
a
like,
problem.
I'm not going to engage in this conversation, and she just walks off and leaves Shanae there like talking to the camera about ADHD and how everyone has it, sarcastically.
Not a good look for Shanae.
Well, yeah, I mean, she's just kind of like a loose cannon. Obviously, she's not like, it doesn't seem like she's wifey material, but she is hot
and they even
still.
when they get back in there with the other girls around, and like she's still going at Elizabeth, and the other girls are all like, what are you doing? To the point that even Cassidy's all like, nah, cut your losses, girl. Just say you're sorry. Like,
yeah, she's like, look, I can't back you up on this.
Like, you're wrong. You're wrong.
That's what makes Cassidy the villain and an evil genius. Like, she's able to like step outside of her body and see a situation, you know what I'm saying? At the same time, she's maniacal and willing to like, do shit, left when everyone's going right. So, yeah, I mean, Cassidy even kind of bails on her and throws her under the bus. And I don't really know where it leaves Shanae. Like, Shanae is just kind of like left there, to feel the way she wants to feel. And but it does lead to some interesting stuff. So during this cocktail party, who was it that went up to Clayton and told her about conversations with Cassidy?
It was Sierra, because like meanwhile, while all this shit with Shanae is happening, a lot of the girls are still miffed with Cassidy, and she's still acting like high horse kind of gal. And Sierra's all like, Sis likes to talk a lot, and she's told me about how, like, literally days before she left to come on this show, she was fucking her fuck buddy and, was doing all this and that. So she's like, well,
what I got from that is that she has an F buddy, and she, was communicating with him to the point where she couldn't tell him what show she was going on or what he was doing. So they were just like, well, we're going to hook up so good. Like, this isn't the mild way that I'm sure it went, but we're going to hook up so good when you get back, and we're going to watch this show together.
So
we're going to hook up
good.
so good, dude. So good. Oh, so yeah. So I mean, yeah. And how did Clayton take it?
Clayton is pissed, obviously, because he gave her a rose. He gave her a group date rose. So she's already sitting pretty, and she already like came and talked to him during this cocktail party too. She's already sitting pretty with a rose and plenty of makeouts under her belt. Not physically under her belt, but metaphorically.
Well, this is where her talking got away from her. And
right.
I don't know necessarily if when she said it, they did show a scene of her talking about it, and then someone walks by and she goes like, kind of cuts herself off and like changes her smile, like she didn't want other people to hear this. So she had to have known that it was bad information and stuff. But what, as smart as she thinks she's being right now, why would she do that?
She was telling Sierra about it. So like she obviously was bragging to some degree. Like
yes,
her ego got away with her.
Sometimes we just can't help but, snitch on ourselves. But so yeah, anyways, Clayton is like, this leaves us at the end of the episode where Clayton goes up to what's the host name? I'm still getting used to him.
Jesse Palmer.
Jesse Palmer goes up to Jesse Palmer. He's like, hey, look, man, has anyone ever taken back a rose before?
Bum, bum, bum.
Oh, wait a second. Jesse, can I ask you a question? Has anyone ever taken back a rose before? Oh, and that's where they leave us for the rest of the episode. So
yeah, I hate when they end an episode with no rose ceremony. Pisses me off to no degree, especially because now we have to wait 2 weeks. We don't get an episode next Monday. Martin Luther King Day observed. I don't know if that's why. I don't know if there's special programming for that, and that's why. But so we have to wait another week until we get the resolution to that. But Cassidy might have ratted herself out again and broke her contract that she has with ABC, because I saw on TikTok that somebody like screen grabbed a video that she had done like a TikTok about, like pretty much saying like, F you, Clayton, like go F yourself. Like, sure, I get sent home for like having sex with somebody right before coming on the show. But like whoever, like but it cut off at that point. But like, so that is a spoiler, but like it's spreading all over the internet, and she's probably going to get some calls from, good old ABC,
yeah,
Bachelor Nation, Mike Fleiss,
getting herself in trouble with her mouth. Yeah, I mean that does serve an interesting point though. Like, it's like, what are you tripping about, dude? You not only do you care that I have an F buddy before the show, but here you are, like, we already know at the end of the season you have sex with at least 3 girls, probably over a course of a week, and then you just came off of another season trying to date another girl that was the Bachelorette. Like, dude, in real world, there's no way of like kind of justifying this, but like in the confines of the show, girl, you fucking up. So, yeah, I mean, that's kind of where it leaves us. We get a little look at, couple, future episodes of The Bachelor. Anything really stand out to you there?
I'm trying to remember.
Yeah, it's just kind of one of those things where I think it's like a full season kind of look, or a longer look into the season.
They keep doing that.
Well,
so
when
like,
you have like a break like this, you have to tease somehow to get people.
I feel like they're gonna try to put some sort of thing on Susie's back, and then I think they're gonna try to keep making Elizabeth out to being more of a villain, which I don't understand how she's in any way a villain. Like, I think that's just like, once again, reminds me of some of the girls on Matt's season, and how like they decided to all go after like what was it? Was it Jasenia or like one of the other girls or whoever for no reason? I think it might have been Katie, but that too. But like there's a couple of girls that they were all just going after.
No, it was Katie standing up for that girl that got bullied and being called an escort and all that stuff.
Oh yeah.
So yeah, I mean, it just happens sometimes though. You put someone in a conflict or in a like where they're having to, go against someone. Sometimes like they say things and do things, or characteristics come out that are just easier to like hound on, and you're not really a bad person, but like, you get a gang of women on you. It just doesn't look good. You'll start like pulling out your hair, and sometimes you start spiraling and making yourself look worse. So I don't know. We'll have to see what ends up happening with that. Anything come out of Bachelor Nation news this week?
Yeah, so there are rumors swirling that jokingly referring to themselves as the commoners, the Riley and Maurissa might have broken up. Maurissa seemingly has deleted any photos of her and Riley. And she was on her Instagram story promoting something, and she didn't have her engagement ring on. And Riley just posted a photo of just himself with a weird caption sort of alluding to setting yourself free. So I'm going to be heartbroken if they're broken up, but most signs are pointing towards them being donezo, but there has been no official word yet.
Well, that's not a good look for them not getting invited, because that would have been a bad look for The Bachelor to invite them and make them look like royalty. But that's the thing, do you think they would be together right now if they were on that show, held up as royalty on the
I don't
franchise?
know. I don't know.
Anything else?
So Clare Crowley has decided to dive back into her pool that she had on her season, and was seen with Blake Monar, who I believe she got rid of on the first night of her season. Has been seen hanging out with him
Blake was on Bachelor in Paradise and dated Tia, right? That's the Blake.
Yes.
And he was kind of like the one that wasn't trying to do anything really for Tia. And then she ended up sending him home for, what's his name? James. And, so, I mean, it looks like she was heading towards that way or something. And, she ended up being like, hey, I'm coming through your city.
She was hanging out with him in Indiana. Why? You don't just go through Indiana. Indiana's the worst. You have no reason to be in Indiana unless you're specifically with somebody. Mm-hmm. Or you're going to, I guess this past week, you were going to the college football natty, the championship. So
what's really sucks about you'd want them to be happy, yo, Claire, go be happy, but it's just easy to find any guy now that you're in that thing, and they're gonna want to hook up with you, they're gonna want to be seen with you, especially somebody like him who's pretty much the bottom of Bachelor Nation at the moment. And I mean he's been on 2 shows now, and when I thought Blake, that wasn't who I thought it was.
That wasn't the Blake I thought of. Yeah,
right. So you're the second Blake thought of in this situation, and I just feel like he's definitely the type of person would just hurt her again. Claire just doesn't seem to be learning her lesson. It's just find a nice guy. You can't go to a nice restaurant or bar and just hang out with a couple of your friends, and some nice guy just comes up to you and from your city and wants to date you. No, is that not high profile enough for you or something? What's going on? She just seems like she's always shooting herself in the foot. But she was gushing about the whole weekend and everything, and we'll just have to see how that develops. I'm sure it won't be anything, but yeah, anything else? That's pretty much it, right?
That's it for that.
Well, another week down of The Bachelor. Week 2, week 3 is coming. Not this coming week, but the week after, I guess. So hopefully we'll have some stuff to talk about Bachelor-wise next week for you guys, just to keep you updated on everything Bachelor. But that's our talk this week.
Future Bachelor Podcast.